Welcome back. You are tuned in to Traders Nation. My pleasure to have with us here today Dr. Stuart Brown, authored Play, How It Shapes the Brain, Opens the Imagination, and Invigorates the Soul. Dr. Brown, thanks for being with us here today. How are you?
Fine, Kurt. Thanks for allowing me to be on your program.
You're more than welcome. All right, now more than ever, we need to think more creatively. How is that done?
Well, I just was listening to a commercial, and it said we need new ideas.
Yeah.
The source of new ideas is playful imagination.
Sure.
And if we can get ourselves into a state of playfulness, despite the fear of economic downturn, we may come up with solutions that are not yet available, and play is the means by which we get there.
All right. Now, is it true without play or physical activity, we can't cultivate these skills necessary to handle the change in times that we're seeing?
Well, nature's designed us pretty specifically to play, and when we don't, we end up being rigid and narrow and stereotyped and not very improvisational.
Right. All right. Now, I sounds like a couple of girls I dated in high school, Doctor. I mean, it really did. All right. So, like our children, all right, playing is just playing. But for adults, isn't it more of like a role-playing or developing social or even locomotive skills?
Well, I think play, because it's often based on temperament, gender, cultural situation, it varies immensely.
Yeah.
But getting oneself into what works for them as a kind of a state of play, a state of doing something for its own sake, a state of physiologic pleasure that you're doing because it's fun.
Yeah.
Finding that for yourself in whatever form is really very central to, I think, taking advantage of what play offers.
Yeah. Isn't play much like working out, where you've got, this is your personal time, and it gives you that time to think and to be creative and to come up with those great ideas or even problem-solving ideas?
Sure. I mean, but I think the difference between grinding away at a workout and enjoying the workout because you're in another space emotionally and physically, those are two very different things. And you can have two people in a fitness club side by side, one solving the problems of life in the world, and the other grinding away so that they can look good, be healthy, get their cardiovascular system fit, and it's not fun.
Sure.
Not the same.
I don't know. See, that's with me, and I agree with that in a way, because as a thinker, and I'm always on. I'm always on. Doesn't matter. In fact, Dr. Brown, some of the worst problems I've had solutions in my sleep. I wake up the next morning and say, wait a minute, there it is. Okay, it comes to you. So in an obsessed world of hard work, is there not enough time in a day, and how can we break away and play?
Well, I don't know that you can break away and play. What you're talking about in sleep is your brain probably while you're dreaming, firing off a billion new connections and coming up with some fresh ones.
Sure. You
can be actively at work and still find within that workspace a playful moment, a playful series of moments, all of which nourish the capacity to feel better and to come up with some fresh insights.
Sure. Back to the sleep thing again, is it the fact that maybe you don't have a lot of distractions, the phone's not going off, people are knocking at the door? Could it be that you're just a better thinker in your sleep like that?
Well, I think there's something very... Play and sleep are connected in a biological way from my standpoint.
Right.
So that we know that, for example, when you're really tuned out and you're having a deep sleep, and then you get into the dream phase of sleep, that memories get fixed, contextual memories get improved in an act of sleep, and that's done automatically and unconsciously. Play, however, is conscious, but a lot of some of those same things happen. There's a nourishing quality to getting into a state of play, which reframes a lot of how we look at ourselves in the world.
Right. It almost sounds to me like sleep is an application. It's like a registry mechanic. It fixes everything. All right. So in the end, does play provide compelling case for importance of recreation to success and creativity? Then.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the people that are the most empowered and the most successful, and you'll find almost to a person that they are players, either internally in their mind's eye or both internally and externally.
Do the players end up being more competitive in life, professionally and personally, than somebody that's not as much as a player or play?
How do you frame competitiveness? Ask that question again, Curtis.
Yeah, competitive in a way to where you're always on the go. You're looking for that competitive edge. Always generally 2 steps ahead of either your competitors or fellow employees, things of that nature.
Yeah, I think if it's that kind of improvisational searching and curiosity and novelty seeking, if that's the competitive edge you're talking about, I think that's very, very allied to playfulness.
Right.
If, however, it's I want to dominate somebody, I want to win at all costs, I want to be competitive.
Sure.
In a different sense than what I just mentioned,
right.
And I think that's a little more domination and a little less playful.
All right. If there's one thing in play that really stands out, you want everybody to know about it, what would it be?
I think it would be that everyone is designed from child to old age to play regularly throughout our entire life. It's not something you should ever lose.
Yeah. Because
in the process of losing it, you lose a big portion of yourself, particularly as an adult.
All right. Does play have a dark side?
Sure. I think play itself doesn't have a dark side, but it can be combined with cruelty as a bully, and the bully can play being cruel with someone.
Yeah.
It can be addictive, as in addictive video games.
Right.
But the play component itself, which is something done for its own sake, for fun, easily interrupted, takes one out of time, that's a different quality, and I like to separate the purity of play from its contamination with addictions and drivenness and other things that aren't play.
Yeah, how could an entrepreneur use play to their best advantage?
Well, I think every entrepreneur, I've done a lot of corporate work, and the corporate entrepreneurs who are able to sit back and literally not be anxious about the bottom line and begin to reflect upon the possibilities that their company has or that their department has or division or that they themselves, if they're in research and development, have, and let it free float, that ends up producing more payoff than grinding away at a problem and trying to solve it head on.
Yeah, now wouldn't Google be a good example of that?
You bet.
Because Google the atmosphere around Google has a lot of play involved, or at least at one point. I don't know how they're doing it now, but Google was very playful, weren't they?
I think Google still is playful. I haven't been there recently, although I'm going to make a presentation to Google in April.
Yeah.
And hope to learn more about them. But I think they do have a sense that this free, improvisational, open, highly personal playtime is a part of their success formula.
I think you're absolutely right. All right, now, Dr. Brown, where can we find a copy of Play today?
Well, I think it's at the bookstores. It's on Amazon. It's Borders has it. Barnes & Noble has it. Amazon has it.
All right, wherever fine books are sold, right?
Right. I hope Avery Division of Penguin has got it out everywhere.
Nice.
They claim that they have, so I assume they have.
And I bet you they do. All right. So Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com, even your local bookstore support.
Sure, the independent bookstores are carrying it.
Absolutely. Guy on the corner, pick it up from him. All right. Now, Dr. Brown, do you have a website?
I have a website. There are two. StuartBrownMD.com.
All right.
Is for the book, and then the National Institute for Play has its website, which is a bit more technical and comprehensive. And if the listener wants to dig into play a bit deeper and gain some research knowledge about it, that's the place.
All right, absolutely awesome. Head out today, pick up a copy wherever your bookstore may be. Head out to Dr. Brown's websites. And Dr. Brown, we do appreciate your time here on Traders Nation today.
Thank you, Kurt.
You're more than welcome. All right, there you have it, folks. Play, how it shapes the brain, opens the imagination, and invigorates the soul. Right? Because if you don't have a good soul, if your soul's not working properly, I tell you what, everything else falls apart. Doesn't it really?